Time to get to some Texas football Texas football conversation. Go behind the burnt orange curtain here. First, I want to play a cut, and we'll play more of these actually next hour. RG3 did an interview, a sit down interview with Quinn Ewers. He talked about a lot of different things. It's probably, I don't know, probably 45 minutes long. So they got into a lot of different things. One of the cuts that I really liked, and this cut says a lot too, because he gets into a little detail that I actually was unaware of. And he talks about basically something that he learned from Sark. That is kind of the question. What did you learn from Sark? But listen to one of the details he drops, one of the nuggets that he drops about the relationship, the play calling quarterback relationship between he and Sark. Here's Quinn Ewers.
Well, I mean, from the day I got here, I think the thing I've heard most from him is you can't go broke taking a profit, right?
Yes.
Don't try to force those deep shots because he'll call them, but he'll call more of them if he trusts you to check one down if it's not
That's
there.
true. That's true.
And obviously just him being in the position that we've been in. He played college quarterback, and then went to the Canadian League, so he obviously knows. He knows what it feels like to be in our shoes, and he said it. I mean, we're getting a PhD in quarterback play here. So he's been there. He's done that. He's had, Heisman Trophy winners. He's had first-round draft picks. So, right. I mean, you'd be silly not to trust the guy.
All right. Now, I like that little nugget that he dropped in there about the deep ball and that you can't go broke taking a profit. So, essentially, I think he's letting people know that, hey, Sark, just because Sark calls a deep ball doesn't necessarily mean he needs to throw the deep ball. You need to take more of the checkdowns. I would like to know that on some of those deep shots that Texas is taking. Maybe it's Sark maybe calling the play, and Quinn, instead of taking the shot, should maybe take the profit more often, which I think he did later on, obviously last year. And I think he got more mature about it. It just shows you right there, because obviously Sark talks about it a lot. It's ingrained or programmed in him. Hey, man, take the check down. Take the check down, especially if they're going to give it to you. We got so much speed. Teams are freaking out. They're dropping, a lot of their linebackers and their DBs back to try to keep a top on the defense and to win the numbers advantage in the passing game. Just drop and dump it off, check it down to Jonathan Brooks and take those yards. And that's So you can't go broke taking a profit. I'm glad that's a mature quarterback. That's a mature 3-year starter talking to you right there. That, hey, I'm gonna take what the defense is giving me. And I think at times, even Sark, and I think maybe Quinn too, I would love to know exactly how often it's Sark that is someone who is kind of forcing the issue as a play caller, and how often it was Quinn as a quarterback, maybe forcing some of those deeper shots downfield. But now you can still, Sark is like, hey man, just because I call it don't mean you need to throw it. Check it down. That's maturity. I like that about what he's learned from Sark. That's a veteran QB.
And I called it, but I called everyone's running routes. Like, it is not the call. I know we said this is your number one target, but there's progressions, and you're still supposed to go through them on the deep shot. So even though there is a guy that's deep and he's your number one, that's not the play call is not necessarily always to him. Play call is to the open receiver, and so I think early on it was the. If this is where I want you to go, I've told you I have faith that you can make any throw. So why would you not make any throw? If you're being told your whole life you can make any throw, then you could always go for the number one, even if it's not the best throw, because you can make it.
You can make it.
And but that's not what they really mean when they say you can make any throw, because they don't mean you can throw into triple coverage and not get picked off. They mean you can throw a deep curl.
Yeah, well, you can touch every blade of grass on the football field, and just because you can make every throw doesn't mean you should make every throw on any given play. And that's kind of what the saying, hey, you can't go broke taking a profit. Take what the defense is giving you. And I think oftentimes you can be maybe as a quarterback, and I certainly think Sark does. You can almost get wrapped up in the really kind of sophisticated elegance of Sark's offense and some of the really cool route combinations. And I guess a quarterback's like, man, I'm trying to hit that deep rainbow crosser on the other side of the field. It's pretty too. I'm going to hit it, and almost kind of predetermined before the snap. Like, no. I'm going to get this open instead of going through your progressions naturally and reading the defense and taking what the defense is giving you. No, man. This is the prettiest route, one of the prettiest routes in our playbook when we complete it. So I think he almost becomes enamored with some of those route combinations, because Sark's offense, it does have some beautiful route combinations. And this is for receiver. I saw a stat from Sports Info Solutions about AD Mitchell that he ran 37 unique routes last year. Wow, unique routes, 37 different kind of routes. Think about that. I grew up in a route tree. All right. I don't remember 37 routes on the route tree. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can name you 37. It'd be really tough right now to see if I can name 37 routes. I probably could get to like maybe 20. I don't know if I can get to 37. I don't even know what he called all these routes. So it's, you know what I mean? That just shows you how, like I said, sophisticated that route tree is in the passing game is, and some of the concepts. So I can understand why a quarterback is thinking, oh, no, they haven't seen this. This is, oh, man, it's going to be wide open because he schemed it open, and this is a beautiful concept. So there can be some kind of infatuation almost as a young quarterback with some of that. Now he's a veteran. He's like, I seen it. It ain't that sexy. Trust me. You think it's like conceptually it is really sexy. Theoretically, it's great. But trust me, when it's applied on the field, it don't always work that way. You know what ends up open? This damn check down. I'm going to take it right now. And that's, like I said, that's maturity instead of, oh, no, I'm going to hit that deep rainbow crosser right. So it hits that deep outside hash mark. It's like, no, you thought that was going to be open. It ended up getting picked off, like you said. The safety was not fooled. You know what I mean? And but what was open was the check down, because everybody, including the defense, was also enamored with that route combination. And that's the purpose of that check down, to give the quarterback options and to present the defense with way more threats than they can defend. And the defense will always choose to defend the deeper threat before the shallow threat. You work deep to shallow as a defender automatically. I mean, why the hell wouldn't you? You want to work shallow to deep. If you do, you better have help behind you. So as a DB, we always work deep to shallow. That's why the check down is always open. We're always collapsing on the check down. Nobody's covering the check down. Check down, you ever notice? Everybody's collapsing on the check down. We rally to the check down. I mean, that's how the check down works. Nobody's covering the check down. That's nobody's job to cover a check down. No. You don't have enough. A defensive coordinator's ultimate task and conundrum is to defend more space with fewer players. How do you do it? It's an old riddle. How do you defend more space with fewer players? You got to figure it out. Well, welcome to a defensive coordinator's job. Welcome to why a defensive coordinator's life sucks, because that's exactly what you need to figure out. How do I defend more space with fewer defenders? Because more and more these days, offenses are creating more space with more threats on the field, and you got fewer defenders to defend all that space they're creating. Yeah. So solve the riddle as a defensive coordinator. That's why you come up with all these really creative, exotic schemes, because you really can't defend more space with fewer defenders. Shh, don't tell anybody. But what you can do is fool the offense into thinking you're taking certain things away. And if you can take away whatever they're trying to on any given down, take away what they're trying to achieve, then boom, that's the perfect play call to counter whatever they're doing. But that's rare that you have the perfect coverage to counter whatever they're doing. Yeah. Most of the time, you're just trying to disguise and fool them into making a mistake. And that's usually kind of where you are in the chess match of defense. But I love that quote from Quinn. It said so much about his progression and development as a quarterback. Because early on, we remember they're just chunking it deep. Sark's calling deep shots, and he's taking deep shots. And it's like, hey, I don't know if that's the I don't know if that's taking what the defense is giving you, but that was a young Quinn. Now we're talking about a much more mature Quinn. Okay, so there you go. And by the way, Quinn has gotten better on his deep balls. And that's something too that I think this year you'll see more of. Matter of fact, he talked to RG3 about that, and we'll play some of that audio and hear from Quinn more next hour. All right, let's get to the another story I wanted to talk about. They listed breakout candidates. CBS College Sports did a list of breakout candidates, and one Longhorn in particular got some love. He's getting some love from a lot of different publications. Malik Muhammad was the Longhorn listed as the potential breakout candidate for the Longhorns by CBS Sports. And I'll say this about Malik Muhammad. There's a chance that Malik Muhammad, I saw a list, and Coach Akina actually was remarking on it too via Twitter and via social media, a list of the schools with the most Thorpe Awards. And Texas has 2 of them. And so they were tied for second with a lot of other schools. LSU and Oklahoma actually had the most Thorpe Awards, which 3 by each school. And it's the award given to the top defensive back. If there was, the question is, if there is a defensive back right now on the 40 acres who would at least be in the running for the Thorpe, can even make it to the semifinals for the Thorpe, who would it be? And I think that choice was, I'll take Malik Muhammad. If I had to choose one of the DBs on the roster right now, I'm not saying they're going to win it. I was a semifinalist. I ain't win it. Yeah. All right. I ain't saying you're going to win it, because winning it is really tough. Only 2 DBs at Texas, that's Aaron Ross and Michael Hupp. Now, if it existed when Jerry Gray was here and Johnny Johnson was here, they'd have won it. It didn't exist at that time. But if I had to choose one DB that I think could be, listen, I love Jahdae Barron. I think Jahdae Barron's great. I don't know if Jahdae Barron makes enough plays on the football. He's a havoc-minded defender. And Jahdae Barron probably would be my second behind Malik Muhammad. He would be there too. I mean, Jahdae Barron's got a chance to make a lot of plays. He's a great football investigator. I just wonder if he'll get his hands on enough footballs. He makes a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage because of his instincts, right? He had 11 and a half tackles for loss 2 years ago. There are not a lot of DBs that in Texas football history. I think the last time you had a Texas DB have at least 11 and a half tackles for loss, I think you had to go back to like the 70s. The last time you had a DB have that many tackles for loss. It's been a long time. So he's really instinctual, and he's got great kind of just football instincts overall, athletic instincts. Like I said, I wonder if he'll get his hands on enough footballs. I know that Malik Muhammad is a havoc-minded ball hawk who'll get his hands on the football, and he'll be tested this year. I don't know, Jahdae Barron, he wasn't tested a lot last year until late in the year, where teams kind of, Oklahoma State went after him a little bit. Washington went after him a little bit. So he wasn't tested until late in the year, and he's pretty sound. I think he was probably dealing with an injury. That's why they didn't have him out there during the spring. But if I had to choose one, it'd probably be Malik Muhammad. And he's getting the most love as a breakout candidate. He's got the highest coverage grade, Pro Football Focus coverage grade of any cornerback in our secondary too, in the Texas secondary. So he would be the guy. If there's going to be another Thorpe Award winner at Texas, that I would choose. But I said Jahdae Barron, if he ends up getting a lot of maybe 3 interceptions, because I think last year the team lead was 3. If he can lead the team in interceptions, I think he also could be a guy that goes to the semifinal round to be a Thorpe Award semifinalist. Who was the last Thorpe Award semifinalist for Texas? Maybe Deshaun Elliott. I think Deshaun Elliott actually was a semifinalist, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, there you go. So Texas football conversation. We'll come back. We got the topic for the Big Fat Poll today, and we also will get into the musically themed day of the week. All of that and more right here on the Rodcast, featuring Patrick Davis on Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers.